is a show where I, Rich Slaton, read a true story about lawbreakers.
And I, John Shefsky, I put a little bit of extra fat, cream, and sugar in the mix to make it taste a little better.
You know what? I'm good with the fat and the cream because I'm doing keto. Sugar, not going to happen, bro.
You need it in here for it to taste good.
No, I'm against sugar now.
It's
100%.
an addiction that you deserve.
I will murder you and everyone you love.
Because you don't have enough sugar.
Over sugar. No, to keep it out of my family's... I'm trying to save lives.
You know what? How about you save playing the music till right about now?
Crime is the show that starts now.
Like right now?
Oh, yeah, do your line.
Oh, okay. Each week, Rich reads a real crime story. I don't know a word that rhymes with story.
And my homie John always has the hot riff. He really loves it when you send...
Don't send anything to me. Don't you dare.
crimepodcast@gmail.com.
Don't you send anything.
Label it John Shefsky. He loves them. Make sure the lighting's really good.
What's up, criminals?
Shalom.
Yeah, it's that time of the year. We've already passed the high holidays. I hope you repented. I know I
to
did.
a God that doesn't exist. And if he did, he doesn't give a shit about your repentance.
No, I told my mom sorry one more time because she doesn't hear it enough on this show.
I told your mom sorry the other night.
Guys, sometimes you miss the high holidays because either you were doing something else that was more fun,
or you're
not a Jew.
You're a reasonable person.
Or you're my bad Jew co-host. And for that, you might need I didn't repent for all my sins insurance from our good buddy Joe Erle at C3 Risk and Insurance Services. Guys, Joe's an insurance broker. What does that mean? That means
also
he
a
gets
Jew.
you also a Jew. Yes, more importantly a Jew, but secondly insurance broker. Did we just out him? I feel like we put 3 parentheses on both sides of his name on Twitter.
Are we supposed to be ashamed of being a Jew? Is it that MAGA in this country?
Oh, it's hardcore, bro.
It's MAGA.
What life you live in. Anyway, whether you need insurance for home, car, auto, someone found out I'm a Jew and now they're upset with me insurance.
Ooh, that's a safety insurance right there.
Yeah, that's kind of an important one, especially this day and age. Hit up our buddy Joe Erle at C3 Risk and Insurance Services. He's an insurance broker. He'll find what you need. Go to c3insurance.com/Joe or call him up 619-233-8000.
If you get a policy with Joe Erle, even though he's Jewish, he will shell out $25 for your Amazon gift card.
Specifically because he's Jewish, because we're a generous people and we don't get enough credit for it.
I was just playing into the stereotypes. Tell him Shefsky sent you. He loves me.
And if you're talking about credit, our good friend Dee Ketelson, she'll give you a 10% credit on dope art if you hit her up at A Piece That Remains. Sometimes someone you know passes away. What do you do with the body? Do you bury it? No. Cremate that bad boy.
Don't cremate it. Cremate it.
Cremate it. All right. Here's what happens. Dee Ketelson is a fantastic artist, and she does cremation art. What does that mean? Well, that means that she'll take the ashes of your loved one or pet and mix them with paint and put them into really dope stuff like paintings or put them on like a ceramic frog or whatever it is that you think would best honor your loved one or pet who has passed on.
Even
also,
if your pet's still alive, for an extra fee, she will kill your dog or cat and then cremate
pretty sure
it.
she's not doing any peticide, but you know, like I don't know. Everyone has a price. That's one thing we've learned on this show.
A price that remains.
A price that remains. Yes. So she'll also do non-cremation art. So hit her up. Seriously, we both have her stuff. It's super cool. A Peace, P-E-A-C-E, thatremains.com. Tell Dee Ketelson that we sent you there because that's pretty dope. And finally,
is that your equivalent to tell her Shefsky sent you?
Yeah, no, I'm not telling
her that we sent you there, and
dude, I have been talking all day. I am out of words, and this is all I have now.
Okay, you gave me a look of I feel very much empathy towards you,
guys. If you want to see this great chemistry in real time, in real life, guess what? If you're in the Northern California area, we will be at the Sacramento Comedy Festival doing Crime Live.
It's like the Valley up north. There's so many valleys in this country.
It actually is the Sacramento Valley. That's what it's called.
North Hollywood.
We'll be at the Sacramento Comedy Festival Saturday, June 13th in Midtown, I believe at the Sacramento Comedy Spot. Tickets available at saccomedyfest.com. If I gave the website correctly. Either way, we'll link that shit in the show notes. Come out, bruh. And
please come.
Yeah. Also do that, too, somewhere, preferably with consent. Actually, we demand it specifically. Or by yourself, which I don't think requires anyone's consent but your own.
You really sexualized my request for people to come see us perform comedy live.
I knew what you were doing. Guys, 2 people who seriously, if you haven't met them yet, they're going to make you want to come. They're part of one of our favorite shows that we've had a lot of crossover between the two of us. It's called The Mean Boys. So please put your virtual hands together for Keith, Carey, and Tom Goss! Goss!
No one has made people want to come less than the two of us. I don't know what you're talking about.
I just want to say I would have never agreed to do this show if I knew you guys were Jewish.
That's a very good
Big
point.
news. I need to call my agent.
That's why we don't tell
I'm gonna
anybody
get bad
until
news
they
there
get here.
too.
You've got an agent? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Not a great one, clearly.
Hi, I'm the agent. You guys talk so fast.
Yeah, well, we want to get through all that shit so that you don't sit there staring at us for too long.
We're baffled by the concept of professional broadcasting because our show is just what if farts were AIDS? Like that's
But that has the value of professional broadcasting. You can
Which might be
say-
the most endearing part of the show, by the way.
yeah,
The
I think that-
unprofessionalism?
No, the what if farts have AIDS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes you think. You know, we're like,
Yeah.
we're the Ira Glass of 9/11. It's still fun.
Guys, I'm going
I
to
like
top
that.
plug this show. If you don't ever listen to Mean Boys, you should go do that right now.
Right
I mean,
now.
finish this episode first and also enjoy these guys, but...
Play them side by side. Get two pairs of headphones, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Plug them in.
man.
You need two iPods for this, right? And take the left out of one,
Okay.
the right out of the other, put it in your ears, and just smoke a bowl and start jacking off.
And if you do that while you play The Wizard of Oz backwards, you're going to have like a super bad time. You're going to enjoy all three of those pieces of art so much less
You don't
than
even
you
need
would normally.
Pink Floyd for this anxiety attack, folks.
Celia Roth was born in 1904 in a New York City basement apartment.
Okay, already bad.
She just plopped right out. What year? 70 what?
1904.
Oh, 1904. No
Yeah, yeah,
air
yeah,
conditioning in New York.
I live in a basement now, so that means this person was born in the life that it took me 30 years of being a preposterous fuck up to get to. So already, Celia Roth is not going great places.
But you're not in New York, though, Keith.
That's true.
That's
I'm
the thing.
one of these West Coast LA hippy dippy basement
Yeah.
dipshits.
My little brother was born in a bathtub in an apartment in Riverside, and he is successfully very high right now. So I don't even know what he's doing, but I know he's high while doing it.
I can't wait for our next episode.
Good things happen to good people.
Celia was the youngest of 8 children born to Michael and Anna Roth. Mom and dad had little to no education. Michael could barely read or write, while Anna, having never been to school, could do neither at all.
But her cousin David Lee knew how to sing about that place down south. Panama, down, Panama.
I saw the moment of glee in your eyes when you realized David Lee Roth was a possibility.
Well, I was going to go either that or Eli Roth, the horror director, and I was like, no one knows Eli Roth.
Do Eli Roth doing Panama.
I thought Panama was AC/DC.
I thought it was a country.
You don't know who does anything ever.
Yeah. I know about Celiac Roth.
Did you just add a middle name to her?
Celiac, like somebody who has
celiac.
poisoned blood or whatever the fuck that means. Yeah, earlier today on Mean Boys, Tom was trying to remember Evil Knievel. He goes, "What's his name? Evil Knob."
That's pretty good. He always saw the K in the end.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
Thank
see
you.
Oh, God.
Only smart people at this table.
You retards
sitting
deserve
across
each other.
from each other.
Yeah, for those of you who are both Mean Boys and Crime listeners, this is a moment you've long awaited. John Shefsky and Tom Goss at the same table.
Together at last.
As poor as their literary skills were, they were even worse at being parents. Mom held various menial jobs, often working at a hotel as a scrub woman.
Hey, don't insult the scrub women listeners.
She was often seen leaning out the side of her best friend's ride, trying to holler at men.
What year is this?
1904.
Born in 1904.
Oh,
so.
okay. So she just had
Yeah,
a
so-
sponge and that was a job?
Well,
back
so
then?
yeah,
What does a
all the
scrub
jobs
woman
were
do?
like, what's the worst way we can describe what you do?
Uh-huh.
What's the most demeaning way?
I'm just picturing Scrub Woman as like a sad Russian version of Mr. Clean.
Hey, shit, man.
Hello, I am Scrub Woman. I clean blood and shame from grout for potato for family.
Life sucks.
Scrub. What did
All
she
is pain
scrub?
by Scrub Woman.
Is that a song by Salt and Pepper or something? I don't want no scrub woman.
The joke happened.
Yeah, it was also TLC.
Yeah, boom.
Yeah.
Lisa. To supplement the family income, shouting out to the people who died already, bro. Come on.
Get on with your story,
To
Slaty
supplement,
baby.
oh yeah, dad worked even less, spending most of his time getting drunk.
Cool.
To supplement the family income, he sent the children out to beg as they garnered more sympathy than a grown man.
You need to get a job like me. Now get up there and
I
beg.
mean, I will say we were homeless when I was a kid, and my mom ran this same hustle where she would have me go stand by the fucking freeway in OC and just be like, "All right, look dirty," and they'll hand you money, and it worked. She'd come back with like $3 in quarters and be like, "I can fly an N64. Like I got money."
Look dirty. Mom, should I change? Nah, you're fine.
Nah, you're good. If anything,
In all
clean up a
seriousness-
little. It's a bit much.
In all seriousness, business. Is that still like a potential revenue stream for us? Can I go that?
I think we've far outgrown our like adorability. Like we are no longer Dickensian urchins.
Okay.
I'm just some fat guy, and you look like some sort of like if Armenians had a genie.
Thank
It's
you.
kind of what you look like, just a vague, swarthy trickster.
If I do 23andMe and find out I'm from Glendale, I'm going to kill all of you guys.
Not from Armenia, from Glendale.
I think they started in Glendale, then they went to Armenia, then they came back.
No, he's better over there, buddy. Bro, bring Scrub Woman.
My Mercedes, it sank on the ocean. I had to swim the rest of the
I
way.
give you a good price for both.
At night, the kids slept in the cellar
A
on
raft
piles.
made out of vaporizers? Just sailing the seas.
All we had to drink was Dracar Noir.
Oh, that's the good juice, right?
Oh, dude. Drunken Noir to drink. It's so funny. Oh, it's so funny.
At night, the kids slept in the cellar on piles of coal.
The most comfortable part of the cellar.
You would be better
Why
off
would you-
sleeping on nothing.
Yeah.
Now, if you crunch
Well,
the
it's
coal the right
malleable.
way, it can have like a little bit of bounce to it.
Yeah, was this a non-lumpy coal? What kind of what
What do you mean, the non-lumpy
soot?
Coal?
It would be soot, I
Yeah,
guess.
Yeah, you're thinking of dust.
yeah. Soft soot.
Is it those rocks that aren't rocks?
Is it the really tiny rocks?
Yeah, pebbles. I'm thinking of sand. You know what? That's what it was.
Michael was such a bad father that even before Celia's birth, he had already been called into court multiple times on charges of neglect and drunkenness. Neighbors testified that they often gave clothes to the children, seeing that they were wearing rags, only to discover that Michael had sold or bartered them away for more booze.
Oh,
And he got his kids back?
Yeah, I mean, of course.
Yeah, I mean,
take away a
1904.
man's kids.
Yeah, this is the 1900s. You could just hit your kids. It was like fine.
you could do a lot of
You could do. I mean, hitting them.
You could like
that's-
rent them out.
What are you, an amateur?
Like if you ate your kid, they might call CPS. Like that's the line.
And this
Yeah, I
is
mean, it
just
depends on how
for
much you left behind.
This
Really,
is just for alcohol too. It's not even like an exciting drug.
I mean, how drunk you have to get to go to court just for being drunk? It's not like he was driving. There was no fucking car, so he's just doing drunk guy shit.
I mean, if you are going to eat your kids, guess after them sleeping on coal would be the right time. It adds that
Oh, a little
mesquite
barbecue?
flavor.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fucking.
He was just, yeah. Guys, welcome to Eat Your Kids podcast with Tom, Keith, and these two.
Some little crystal sauce.
Tom Keith and the Jews.
The Jews.
in 1900, after regular appearances in court for neglect, public drunkenness, fighting in saloons, and illegal voting, the judge gave.
What did he write in? Any black person? Like, what is illegal voting in 1900?
My guess was that he was like, yeah, sure, I voted. I voted like 15 times.
Okay, I just
That-
feel like they were just like, sorry, you're too Irish. Like,
That's
that's not going
I
to
mean-
happen, champ.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely is one of the ones you get knocked down for a whole bunch. But yeah, my guess is that he just voted a lot.
Which is still weird. He's just like, I love two things: getting too drunk to parent and civic pride.
Yeah, it really is interesting.
Hey, no, Judge, I didn't do it. Well, where'd you get, like, why do you have 57 I voted stickers?
You got me.
The judge gave him a choice.
Maybe he made his kids vote.
Sober up and
makes
send the
sense.
kids to
In
school.
a trench coat.
Yeah.
He just stacks them on top of each other and
Yeah.
puts them. Yeah,
All right, get in there. You can all write it in there. No one understands this gag yet. We just invented it.
Right?
Yeah.
Copyright crime with 3 eyes.
Quick, somebody invent movies so we can sneak in.
The judge gave him a choice. Sober up and send the kids to school or face jail time.
So he went the fuck to jail.
That's absolutely 100% true.
Yeah.
What a piece of
This would not
shit.
be a great podcast if it was. So then he got his shit together. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's our show. Listen to
how every-
facemanoutofyouردog.com or
That's
whatever.
how every crime episode doesn't go, huh?
Yeah.
And we're like, oh man, if he just does the right thing, we
For the
can go
first,
home.
like, 50 episodes, I often juked on Shefsky. I was like, and then he did make a good decision and change things. He'd be like, what, really?
I
No,
fell
it never
for it,
happened.
'cause I
Just kidding. He killed a
Well,
lady.
my circadian rhythm didn't understand how long the show should be, so Slaton would look me in the eye and be like, and then he decided to stop doing crime and he opened up a veterinary clinic. And I'd be like, oh, well, that's beautiful.
I like the idea that you have the same sense of time as like a small dog.
Yeah.
It could have been 45 seconds. It could have been 3 hours.
Yeah.
You don't know.
That is how
Every
I tell
time he goes to pee, you're just like, is Slaton ever coming back?
Yeah, less than a decade, more than an hour. That's how I time everything.
A week after he went to jail, the 3 of the yet-to-be-born Celia's siblings
Say
were
that 10
taken-
times at my bar mitzvah, am I right?
Celia wasn't born yet, but after he went to jail, they took 3 of her older siblings away from the dad. And while the state can take your kids, it can't stop you from Making new
more
ones.
kids.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
dude.
that's the solution if you ever run out of kids.
Put a padlock on that cream pie, right?
I broke this one.
Oh, God.
Did they have vasectomies back then?
In 1904.
With like an iron
Why are
thing.
you looking at me like that's a crazy question? They were already fucking euthanizing people.
Okay, how
Well,
likely...
yeah, it's way easier to kill someone
Yeah.
than to fix their balls.
I don't know ball science. Why are you guys looking at me like I'm fucked up?
Ball science.
I'm gonna defend. I'm gonna defend Tom
Okay.
in the Tom corner here. This is you could totally. They had vasectomies in 1904.
There's no way
Yeah.
they had vasectomies
Dude,
in
they
1904.
had like
Some-
cheap tongue condoms in
Yeah,
1800s.
some sort of
like,
back
it's not
alley doctor would take a hit off an ether rag and then take a fucking rusty hacksaw to your dick. It's not really a
I don't know,
vasectomy.
I was thinking he might poke you or something like that, or make you jump on a horse too fast or something.
Oh, fuck.
They call it the cowboy's lament.
No more babies for you there, feller.
or tube cider. I'm sure they put like cement up the womb or something to
Jesus
fucking.
Christ. Like with like a cake frosting bag.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, that's not a vasectomy. That's a very... What do you think a
He's talking about a
vasectomy is?
hysterectomy.
Yeah, I'm just.
Which
I'm
should
just
be called a
I'm talking
hysterectomy, am I
about
right?
birth
You're
control.
talking about general birth
Hashtag
control.
feminine.
Yeah. I'm sure
right.
they fucking put some sort of paste up a syringe and shot it.
We are never going to finish this episode.
No.
Of course.
Why would she? Yes.
No. I'm
Everyone
fine.
stop being funny. More facts.
Why is your objective always to finish an episode?
Yeah.
Just be, bruh.
That's a very good point. I should just be.
Continue this tale of child abuse.
Yeah, you think this gets happy? Of course. By 4 years old, Celia had already made her first visit to an orphanage. Mom picked her back up again 6 months later, only for Celia to be found once again left to fend for herself in a deserted apartment.
Wait, has she? Did
like
the
a-
parents give her to the orphanage, or the cops like you live here now?
That one's unclear. I mean,
she just wandered in
it's
there.
the cycle of orphanage. You know?
I like that she got left alone in an apartment. Like, I don't even have an apartment. This kid is doing pretty good.
Yeah, I know. She was coming up.
Are we gonna spend this whole episode with Keith comparing his life?
You know what, man? I didn't expect to be getting fucking shamed by a 4-year-old with no stupid dad. But here we are.
I didn't even get in trouble for fake voting.
Yeah.
This guy does.
But luckily for Celia, her Aunt Margaret was already well-schooled in caring for her deadbeat brother's other kids. She gave Celia a home and enrolled her in the local Catholic school.
No, that don't work out well. Yeah. Well, Celia's a female, so she's probably safe from getting
totally okay.
molested or raped.
It's really out of the frying pan and into the finger. Like, this is bad news.
Fuck.
I'm not proud of what I've done.
I am.
I'd say this is comedy gold. So keep it coming.
Shit. Mom did occasionally stop by to take her daughter for trips to the city, asking her sister-in-law to make sure Celia was dressed nicely for a trip into town. Every trip ended with someone finding Celia left in an abandoned apartment, her nice clothes having somehow gone missing.
Oh, she'd sell them?
I saw that coming.
Yeah.
She'd sell her kids clothes?
She'd be like,
clothes
hey,
cost money.
yeah,
fucking
hey, dress
good
up my kid in
hustle.
the best stuff.
The scum fucks these parents are. The Roths?
Why? What's the problem?
Were they both drunk?
How many people
What
are
drug
just
did she
buying
do?
children's clothes on the street?
That's
that
a
this
great
work?
point. I didn't even ask that's like the first
Like,
detective
if
question.
some drug
dolls
lady walked up to
popular
me and
back
was
then?
like, "You want these fucking overalls?" I'd be like, "No, go
No,
to
yeah.
hell or jail."
Yeah.
Like giant dolls were a big thing around that time.
Sorry, what? Tom,
I will take
absolutely fucking what?
I will take the pantaloons from your giant doll that is talking.
What are you even talking about?
I think he's right too.
Yeah,
I think he's right.
Why do you think every horror movie there's like a doll from that era that comes to life and
giant is where I'm struggling.
No,
I don't know. They're about 4-year-old mannequins. They were into those fucking
A man,
string puppets.
Yeah.
you're thinking of a marionette. Number one.
Yeah,
Number two. Shut up.
that's your only argument. I think I
Yeah,
win.
I don't need to make one.
It sounds like someone who doesn't have any follow-up. Why are all the evil dolls from that era if that's not when they had
It is
them?
a great point. From the man wearing a Halloween shirt. That's a great
Yeah,
point.
Doom Tunes.
It's a great point.
Oh my fucking god.
Meanwhile, in the Valley of Giant Dolls.
That's terrifying.
Oh shit. At 14. Oh god, I gotta come back.
I am
get back.
Barbie. The Teddy Ruxpin the size of a fucking Volkswagen taking out a building.
That sounds fucking dope. Oh, the Japanese are terrified.
Oh, I want to
already.
make this movie.
He's a Teddy Ruxpin.
At 14, Celia moved into the Brooklyn home of her married older sister. By now, she was finished with school, spending her days working at a brush factory. And
Oh,
the
did she
rest,
start fucking the husband?
Wait, who?
Good guess. But
Okay.
no.
Oh, okay.
Did the 14-year-old start fucking the husband?
I'm gonna
I mean,
start
actually, that's
get-
actually kind of par for the course for the
That's
show.
so
Yeah.
gross, Tom. I can't believe you're even thinking that could be something that would happen on an episode of Crime.
I'm sorry. We already referenced her getting molested at 4. I don't know why.
No, we haven't mentioned any molestation.
Keith did.
Oh, well, yeah.
Keith
he was
what
bad
I did,
person. He made a joke.
I made a nice slick, like, clever wordplay. We can move past it. Then you
I'm
double
sorry.
back.
I tried to catch the M. Night Shyamalan part of this podcast.
Can a table of male comedians just sit around and make a couple molesty jokes without someone keeping tabs?
Also, 14 was like 30
We're the
back
victims.
Right?
By now, she was finished
Here's
with
why the
school.
net is bad.
Where's my hashtag?
Yeah. Hashtags
Bye.
continue, Rich.
By now, she was finished with school, spending her days working at a brush factory and the rest of her time stealing small items from her sister to help fund her nights out in the city.
So
What
she-
is a brush factory?
It's where they make brushes.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
I thought it was like code for like we plant bushes or
if, you,
something.
if you live in the wild, you'd think that hill is a brush factory over there, son.
I have a
Pretty
genuine
obvious
question.
now. Okay.
Okay.
Is she stealing these small items to offer them as tribute to her gods, the giant dolls, who roam the wastelands of New York City?
I wish the viewer could see how much I sat for it, being like, yes, Keith, what real
Yeah.
question do you have?
You really walked right into that one.
You fell for it, you stupid.
I like
Man, Rich is dumb and bad.
Look, I just also like the coverage you gave. Breezy past, like, oh no, Tom asked what a brush factory is. What can I do to move us forward?
I'm trying to help you.
Look, I thought, what does a scrub lady do? You know what I mean? I thought it was
She
some
scrubs,
weird
you fucking moron.
Using the brushes that she bought from the brush factory.
It's not like you're asking, what is a farfugulus? Like, no, you're that. What is the shoelace?
I thought it was
go?
some fucking
What is the
old timey
farfugulus? Is that a
slang
Yiddish
for
term?
fucking
Yeah,
something.
it's IKEA for something. I don't know. Shut up.
Farfugulus.
I'm just getting
Wait.
angry for no reason.
It's okay.
Celia's
It's all right.
sister disapproved of her late hours, even more so when the teenager began bringing sailors home at night.
She was hooking. I wasn't far off.
telling
She was
you.
not hooking. She was
Okay,
just,
well,
She's
yeah.
just horny, dude.
she was
Okay.
getting some.
Yeah.
All
She was
right.
taking it.
Well, she's
that
still
or she was
poor.
that or she was like
Okay, calm
trading.
down.
She was like
Look,
trading
we
this
could say
family
she was like a
silver.
sexually liberated person. Let's not say she was taking it.
She was capturing her womanhood. I don't know what you want me to say.
We're talking about sailors
That was
in the
more-
20s. Something
yeah.
was being captured. I don't know.
Yeah.
Within 2
They had
years.
pirates back then?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they have pirates now.
Still do.
But like, you
Oh, but like the
know
cool
what
kind?
I'm... Yeah,
You're talking about yo-ho and not just a
Yeah.
sad-eyed Somalian.
Yeah, I think
Right.
they've been gone for a while.
Okay.
Not a lot of wooden ships back in 1904, I don't think. Within 2 years, the conflict grew bad enough that Celia moved out of her sister's place and moved back in with her mother.
So she's 16 now?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can almost date her.
Dude, I can do math like a motherfucker. Thank you.
Young, dumb, full of sailor cum.
Somehow, Point Break made it into our podcast.
She took a job as a laundress at various hospitals.
No, a laundress is just someone who does laundry.
No, you're thinking of a scrub lady.
Yeah.
See, that could have been the scrub lady could have done that too.
So
But
she's a
never for
laundry lady.
long.
So a laundress is someone that does laundry.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
They
if
could have
there's some sort
laundered
of-
money.
There could have been a twist.
Yeah.
Exactly. There could have been a twist.
She took a job at, at St.
I
Luke's.
think we're genuinely upsetting Rich
He's
now.
like, I didn't know it would be so dumb.
What did you think would happen here?
He built a super dummy.
No,
Yeah.
this is definitely everything I'd hoped and everything I'd feared.
yeah,
We're doing a 9-hour episode of crime. She's not even fucking 18 yet, and we're already...
yeah.
6:30 a.m. call time. All right. Great. She took a job. Oh, she did that already. At St. Luke's, she was fired for being, quote, noisy, troublesome, and impertinent. She was fired from the women's hospital because she would, quote, take the good girls from the place, taking them to out-of-town places, and when questioned about their movements, she would lie.
Pimp.
Possibly. I don't know anything about her pimping. I think she was just being like, let's go party.
Like girls'
She's
night
just a
out.
partier.
Yeah.
So far, her only crime is being a super good time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically. She also bounced between lodgings. One landlord threw Celia out because she, quote, used vile language, fought with all the roomers, and left the place filthy and dirty.
What's her room?
She just sounds punk. She
Yeah.
sounds like a cool punk teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Celia was a rebel to the core,
Yeah.
which is why it is no surprise that the teenager embraced a dangerous, devious social trend that was clearly of the devil.
She got into vaping. This one tastes like pumpkin spice.
She cut her hair into a bob.
Heavens to Betsy.
Wait, like a flapper girl.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is pre-Flapper. Flapper's not till 1915-20, right?
That's well. She
How
was
the
born
fuck
in
do you know
1900
so much about
okay.
Flappers?
She was
It's
born.
a great comedy club. That's why. Shout out to the... I'm just
Flappers
kidding.
Claremont.
That's right.
She was born in 1904, and now she's a teenager, Jonathan. So let's do a little bit of math here.
Okay, she's...
On-
it's 1920.
Yeah, there you go.
I see it.
there we go. Perfect.
Are we learning about how she started the Flapper movement?
At the time, even if a woman's hair was worn up, it was kept long. But in 1915, famous dancer Irene Castle cut her hair short for convenience, and it became an overnight sensation and symbol of women's liberation.
Yeah, we don't need men to not look like lesbos, right?
Hell yeah.
We do whatever we want. Hairy
Girl,
armpits, right?
Taking it for themselves.
That's right. We can scissor to make babies.
Hell yeah. Nobody tell us how that doesn't work. We weren't allowed to read until 40 minutes ago, so we're a little unclear about the mechanics.
I know
We're going to get it
science.
done.
Yeah. I work at a brush factory. I'm going to change the world.
Shy and demure women bobbed their hair and suddenly began boozing, smoking, and demanding voting rights, jazz music, and prohibition.
Heck yeah.
I love that jazz music is snuck in there.
I mean, look, jazz music is code for bad.
We want freedom, liberation, and a trumpet.
At first, many hairdressers simply refused to do the cut. So the women went to barbers who were happy to have the money.
Yeah, come on our side there, lady.
You gotta get it. You gotta legalize the bob, or people are gonna get back alley bobs. Like it's just,
It's a rusty back alley haircut.
which back alley bob also seems like it could be Tom's name.
Back alley Bob.
It sounds like a rollerblader from 1997.
or a roller derbyer now.
Or a garbage pail kid card that I just happen to have with me. Oh,
Whoa.
At first, okay, I did that part already. Soon, dude, I'm telling you, without the paper, we're digital today. We're on an iPad. This is crazy.
very tech. This is very Minority Report.
In 1920, the 19th Amendment answered their demands.
What was the 19th Amendment?
It gave them like voting rights and other things. But
Oh,
mostly
okay.
voting rights.
You know, chick shit.
Yeah.
Everyone gets a free tampon on the 4th of July or something.
Founded the Oxygen Network, that sort of stuff.
I don't know what that is.
Actually, Oxygen was a women's network.
It's a breathing
and
thing,
now
but
it rebranded as CRiiiME, and the joke is
Still
it's the
a
same
women's
thing.
network.
Yeah. That's the thing everyone said.
Right, listeners?
Right, listeners? Soon, a quarter of all women and 12% of married women worked outside the home. It was scandalous.
Ooh, girl.
12%?
Yeah, a quarter of all women and 12% of the married ones.
Oh.
Yeah, right? So a lot of married women were like, nah, I'm going to go work somewhere.
Because there's the dudes who didn't want him to do that, right?
Yeah.
And they were just like...
Yeah, you mean the fools?
It feels like we're just introducing the concept of sexism to dogs. Like it was like I thought everybody could do whatever.
And what were they were just I've learned a little bit about this from the movie Cinderella Man, but what was the big fear?
This is the most wonderfully how ignorant you are of what we're talking about is somehow great and
endearing.
terrible at the exact same
No, it's
time.
endearing. He's not saying it hostilely and
No,
threatening.
that's what I'm saying. You're like,
Listen, fuck
you're
face,
like,
explain the suffragette movement.
Yeah. Well, it's about a David Bowie song, you see.
no, but if someone's like, wait, they made people work for them for no money, you're like, oh, bud, we got a lot to talk about right now.
Oh,
Oh no, I know about slavery.
Yeah?
I learned about that. I even learned that women used to not work.
yeah.
But I
Yeah,
don't.
you learned that tonight.
No, I knew that. I just didn't
Just now.
understand the hoopla around it.
If cutting her hair wasn't enough,
Fine, ignore my questions. I'm just going to come on your podcast. You're like, no, we're not
wait,
going to learn.
that was a question?
Well, sometimes Slaton has to steamroll through it to get to the next part, and so he was just trying. But he is an asshole sometimes.
Yeah.
Celia, if cutting her hair wasn't enough, Celia took it a step further in 1923 when she moved into a furnished room where she lived as the common law wife of a man named Ketelson.
All right.
Wait,
Doesn't sound like she's so feminist now.
common law
wife.
Is that just
What's that
like
mean?
It
fake
means-
wife?
Yeah. basically.
Mistress.
Yeah.
Harrison feels like she was alone in a room and somebody walked in and was like, "What's your husband's name?" And she went, "Oh," and looked around and just saw a chair and was like, "Harrison." And our children, Walford. Why didn't I say Wally?
I should have gone with Wally. Why didn't I say
It was right
Wally?
there.
This is my son Nick Rutherford.
Yeah.
The crown
And our
here.
daughter, Doorknob Marie.
That's right.
Evil knob.
Checks out to me. That lasted a few months until a friend introduced her to a dashing auto mechanic named Edward Cooney.
Ooh.
I have no riffs.
I know why that name's upsetting.
No riffs.
The two hit it off.
Keith claimed no riff. He holds up a little card.
I played the riff.
He's pleading the riff, dude.
The two hit it off immediately and kept company for several months.
Meaning they boned, dog.
Fucking.
Oh,
They be
man.
fucking.
Did she give him an armpit job with her hairy French armpits?
Probably.
You think people were eating pussy in the 20s?
Oh, yeah, dude. If I was
Well, you
alive in
think
the
they were
20s, yeah.
But you think they were eating pussy good, though? Because, like, even now, a lot of dudes don't know how to eat pussy because they're just like, oh, I got this. I know where the top part is. But, like,
How often are you there when people are trying to go down on women?
Look, you don't know how
You're all
I party.
standing next to him with a microphone. All right, go for it, fella. What are you doing with your tongue movement there?
I'm just saying, I wonder how many people were actually getting their pussies eaten good in the 20s. Nobody has an answer for it. Certainly not at this time.
Yeah, your parents didn't have that like Kama Sutra book that you creepily found.
Oh, The
inside
Joy
the
of
night-
Sex?
Yeah, or
Yeah,
whatever, or the Joy of Sex. Yeah, that
love The Joy
seriously
of Sex.
every parent's.
Oh, that would have been so much better than how I found out about sex.
Here's another interesting sex thought from this time. If they have the bob, do you pull their hair if they want you to?
Yes.
From what angle?
From the
What do you
there's still
mean?
hair.
Tom, look
Yeah.
how long your arms are.
They didn't
Imagine
have the gym, which is no
It's
hair.
uneven. Wait, the gym?
It's a name he just invented.
Yeah.
For a haircut?
Shefsky's catching up here, man.
Well, compared to Tom, I seem like I'm smart.
Get back on my level. I thought we were
I
friends.
know. I'm here to defend you, but I also have to interact with the upper class.
Yeah,
We got to make this whole thing
Usually
work.
what happens when we bring Tom into a situation with a guest is like him and the guest will bond and fight against whatever authority there is at the show. This one is John just leaving him
Slowly
behind.
Am I really?
drifting away.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I thought I
Yeah.
was with you, but then
It was like
You should ask
It was like you were
more
nice to him. You're like, I'm
questions.
going back to the cool kids
Okay,
table.
I'm sorry. I have to go between tables.
Yeah. No,
Now I
go to
feel-
my
now-
table.
I'm a
Now I
social
feel guilty,
butterfly.
Tom.
and
I thought we
wanna
were
apologize.
friends.
Now I feel guilty. I
I
riffing.
feel guilt for your guilt.
I was riffing. There was a giant bus, and I was like, I gotta throw something under this thing right here.
Yeah.
She's
and it was
getting
me.
dicked down by the mechanic.
Ed would pick her up at a different. Thank you, Keith. Ed would pick her up in a different car for each date, borrowing the vehicles from the garage where he worked.
Which is illegal.
Yeah, but
But it's
kind of who gives a
1904,
shit.
man. People do
It's
that.
legal adjacent.
They were married in May of 23 and moved into another furnished room that cost $8 a week.
I thought Keith was gonna be like,
Do you honestly
"Dude, I
pay
live
that
in a
much
place
more for the
that
place you
does-
guys live in right now?
I mean, a large percentage, but technical money, no.
You pay a hilariously small.
I know I do.
Look at it this way: you only pay 2 digits more than that.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
With their combined salary of $42 a week, they were doing pretty well for a young couple.
Okay.
They had plenty of money to live comfortably, but they didn't want to live comfortably.
Oh, they wanted to be rich and
shit.
famous.
They wanted to live large, spending every cent they earned on luxuries. Sometimes they spent money they didn't have. They signed over months of her wages in advance for a sealskin coat.
All right.
Okay.
It's an important coat. 4 months into their marriage,
I thought feminists were all into PETA and stuff like that too.
not then, dude. Then feminists were like, yeah, no, it's my turn to eat meat.
Yeah, I'm a free woman and I want to kill shit. That's what it was.
Yeah, those hot chicks who trophy hunt today, original style feminists.
Interesting.
First wave, dude.
I like
First wave. 4 months into their marriage, Celia learned that she was
his side
Pregnant.
bitch.
pregnant.
Dude, now who's smart,
That's right.
motherfucker?
Hey,
Not her.
You win. That was.
Should have wore those lamb tongue condoms.
Suddenly they're lamb tongue. Okay, hold on, pause. Tom, I want you to explain to me how you think they like. How does a lamb tongue condom like work functionally?
I'll jump in here. You know a fruit roll up?
Here's what I'll say. I know there's lamb skin. Might as well
Yeah.
use the tongue because it's the most penis-shaped part of the skin.
So you're so you're envisioning
that's
like
all sensitive.
like a
Tongues are
hollowed
rough.
out tongue.
yeah, like a sleeping
Why
bag.
don't you just
If
hollow-
we learned
why don't you
anything
just hollow
tonight,
out the
it's-
penis?
It's what Tom's dick is shaped like. It's flat and wide. It's like you have to like sort of crumple it up and straighten it like a dollar
giant
going into.
tapeworm?
I was just like a dollar going into a vending machine. I gotta put it in tip first. That's the problem.
Suddenly, their one-room apartment looked much smaller. Celia had a mini meltdown. There was no way they could raise a baby like this. But luckily,
But luckily,
they
Abortion.
wouldn't have to because they quickly came up with the plan. And no, that wasn't it. Ed spent the next few months putting together the things they needed. First, he used his welding skills to make a pair.
That's a bad start to this alert. All right, we have a baby. We don't want it. What skills do you have? Welding. Perfect.
All right,
Like,
seal it up.
if it can't get out, it can't get to us.
Hey, honey, you have plenty of aloe, right? Because this is going to hurt a little bit.
Did this the same thing to Sigourney Weaver and Alien.
put a nice bead on that bead.
We're gonna entomb it in there with a steel plate, like we're betraying a pharaoh.
I told you guys, there's the cement syringe, like I said from earlier.
Oh man.
Ed used his welding skills to make a pair of fake license plates.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. They're going to start robbing stuff and not worrying about people taking their pictures.
The state of New York alternated colors each year, yellow on black, then black on yellow. Ed cut some 1922 plates in half, then welded them to the other half of a pair of plates with the 1924 stamp.
Okay.
The new number was untraceable because it didn't exist. Getting a car wouldn't be a problem because of his job at the garage. Ed already owned a pistol, a small .25.
Oh, they're going to start robbing shit, aren't they?
On Saturday night,
Oh, yeah.
January 5th, 1924.
Okay.
The couple dressed up, Celia in her finest sealskin coat and beaded gray dress, and Ed in his finest suit. Ed picked her up in a borrowed car, and they drove to the Ralston Grocery in Park Slope.
Yeah, see? Yeah, 1920, see?
We
back,
made
guys,
it this far to get to that voice, which I'm pretty
Yeah, it's not going to stop, I don't think.
No!
There
You
were
might
no
morph,
customers.
though, into some other voices. That,
Yeah.
right? I don't know if I can stick with
There were no customers, just 6 grocers in their white coats. Celia entered and asked for a dozen eggs. As they wrapped up her order, she pulled a 25 from her fur coat and yelled, "Stick 'em up, quick!"
and scramble those puppies. I want an omelet. I mean, if you have a gun, right? Just start making some demands, right?
Exactly. Get weird.
You there with the bacon. Fry that too.
Yeah.
Anyone have a tortilla? Have breakfast burritos been invented yet in the 20s?
The clerk's arms went up.
Invent the burrito.
Oh, that's a tall order. Dude, at gunpoint having to invent shit? Oh, okay.
The clerk's arms went up, and as Ed stormed in with his guns and raided the register, they returned to the garage and removed the fake plates before heading home to empty the money out onto their bed.
Did they have sex yet?
Probably. It was a little more than $600.
If you don't fuck on a bed full of stolen money, why steal them?
How boring.
Yeah.
How boring if you were like a couple with someone.
Well,
and your
time to go to
chick-
bed.
Your chick,
Wait, how pregnant is she at this point?
your chick's got a headache. You're like, we just robbed a place.
I
Let's
forgot she's
bone.
pregnant.
I can't
yeah,
fall
she's
asleep.
fucking pregnant during all this
Yeah,
shit.
she's nailing it. dude.
How deep into the pregnancy?
I don't know. See, this is January 5th. She got pregnant somewhere around September, I think. So,
Oh, so like,
pregnant.
so the baby's
Yeah,
hand,
she's
the baby's
visible.
hand's gonna come out with a little,
yeah, she's been
Derringer.
puking a little bit.
And she's like, all right, pregnant, not noticeable
in.
enough. I'm going to throw on the nicest fucking, 3 months of
okay, so I know I pump faked you earlier, but I do have a genuine question here. Why are they dressing up super fancy to make themselves more noticeable?
Yeah.
What
Old
is
days.
the logic there? That doesn't mean anything. What
the-
you just said.
Well, I
respect.
think the idea was so that they would look respectable as they walked up to the register. So they could be like in position. 'Cause remember, this is a time where if you walked in rags, I'd be like, "Get the hell out of here!"
Right, but I'm saying wear like normal ass clothes. It's going straight to
Well, okay, this lady's also bananas.
Yeah.
Fair.
And
Fair
so
enough. I just didn't know if there was an
I'll
element to
retcon
the
this for a second. When she was waiting for him to go pick up the car, she was at home in the apartment, like talking to the gun as though it were him and kissing it and shit
You
like
talking
that.
to me?
Are you
I
serious?
don't know why I didn't put that in the
talking to me?
original version of the script. I'm just
No.
realizing how
Well, yeah.
valuable that is.
Yeah, made out with a gun
Yeah,
is
yeah.
a pretty important thing.
You're a fucking pistol, so you must be talking to me.
First she cheats on me with those giant dolls. Now a gun.
It was a little more than $600, $8,800 today, more than either had ever seen in their lives.
Wait, $600?
Yes.
Well, because in those days, $600 is worth what's
That's
now
like $3
equivalent to,
million.
probably like $5,000 now.
He just
No.
told you exactly what it was worth.
Oh, he did.
Yes,
You did?
It's 8,800.
How much did Slayton say it's worth? I'm
Yeah,
just joking.
that's-
I heard
that's-
that
that's
part.
the
I'm just
amount.
teasing you, Slayton.
The
I can
next
rip
day,
too.
the Coonies were all over the papers.
So, I'm sorry, the what? One more time. I missed
of
it.
course,
What were
shocked
they, what were the
that a
name?
woman was the suspect. The headline of the Brooklyn Citizen read, quote, 6 employees in grocery held up by pretty girl. Most people...
That's
Go
just so
ahead.
disrespectful. They call her a pretty girl. Like it's a woman when she has a gun.
She's smart too.
Yeah, even with a gun, I'm not a woman.
Yeah.
Most people were shocked by the idea of a woman with a gun. Sure, they participated in robberies, but only as the lookout. When grocers finally got the nerve to call the police and report the robbery, the officers refused to believe it was a woman, instead concluding that, quote,
Really?
it must have been a man dressed up in girls' clothes.
It's hard to imagine that's not even that long ago. The people were like as dumb as like now. If we're like, that dog can file my taxes. Like it's like, is it that impressive? Like she held a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't do that.
Yeah, I just
They didn't vote.
My favorite is that it took the grocers a while because they're like, all right, who's going to call the cops and admit we got robbed by a pretty
It's fucking.
girl?
This is only 70 years before Air Bud, and that people believe that. You know?
The idea of them being like shitty even while like they're getting robbed, they're like, here you go, sweetheart. Like they're just being pandering.
With the extra money, the couple fixed their financial situation, paying for a new apartment and saving the rest for a rainy day. Yeah, that didn't happen. That didn't happen at all.
Yeah, I was about to say this is.
I started to feel,
Yeah,
They
yeah.
invested it in mutual funds, and they both got their degrees.
They got a better apartment and an expensive meal and a bunch of fancy new furniture and a new dining set and a bright brass crib, which they bought on financing because the total came to over $1,000 and they only had $600.
They spent more than what they robbed.
Dude, these people fucking rule.
They're ridiculous. I do like that they dress up like Batman's parents to go rob them. But their grasp of finances is pathetic.
It had only been a week and they were already broke. And the next Saturday night, they robbed another store. When she pulled her gun, one customer, a Mrs. Gibbons, was so confused by a female bandit.
Is that your lipstick?
that she didn't put her hands up, instead asked her husband, "What do they want?" He replied, "My God, they're robbers. Don't you understand?"
You stupid cunt.
Sorry, Mom.
So sorry, Mom,
She
for being
put her hands
honest
up.
about this one dumb bitch in the 1920s that didn't know what was going on, and it's her own race. It's women.
Mrs.
Hang on. Okay. There are two races. We all know. Human and woman.
Men and women. Everyone knows the two races, men and women.
She put her hands up before declaring that she would never shop at that store again.
Fair.
Wait, the woman who's being robbed?
Yeah,
said
Mrs.
that?
Gibbons. She's like,
I
this
have
store is.
never.
Yeah, this
Shit.
is the kind of people that are in here.
And thus the first negative Yelp review was born. I'd like to speak to the manager.
The Coonies only made off with less than $100. So they robbed another spot that same night, coming away with another $250.
That's the beauty of robbing. You don't get enough, continue to rob. It's a nest egg kind of situation. You're always good. There's always somewhere else to rob.
The next morning, Ed stepped out for smokes and returned with a stack of newspapers.
I
Well-
robbed these too.
It's the most shocking that he went out for a pack of cigarettes with his pregnant
And
wife
came
and
back.
Came back. Well, I mean, they have all this money
Great
now.
point. He's also real
Well, they
bad at
accrued so
problem
much
solving.
debt, he can't leave.
Yeah, well, sure he can.
So responsible.
Hey, did you guys even think maybe he wants this kid?
2 stores held up by armed woman and Confederate, read the Brooklyn Eagle.
Confederate?
What?
This is your grandparents.
Pretty
Wait,
girl
does
robber
Confederate mean something else?
means like partner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
teammate.
Oh my
I
gosh.
was imagining like
And Civil War reenactor.
Yeah, I think
World War I Nazis or something.
I thought they pulled up in the
World War I Nazis.
You mean babies?
Nazis in the making right there.
Yeah.
World War I.
Pretty girl robber raids store, said another. But the New York Telegram coined her nickname when it dubbed her the bobbed-haired bandit.
That's kind of cool.
Sure.
There's
Bobbed hair. You just can't get a different haircut.
there's 2 B's in there. That's neat.
Yep.
Besides
Shit.
that,
It's like when you have T-shirts, you're stuck doing the same joke for like 10 months until you actually sell the damn things.
It's my closer, and I have 17 mediums left.
yeah, I've been doing comedy 5 years after I wrote this, but I still have to sell these. My butt is a tamale shirt.
Celia was ecstatic with the press.
Because it only gets filled on Christmas.
Excitedly reading the reports out loud. Ed was less pleased as every paper focused on the scintillating story of the lady robber and her accomplice. The, quote, armed woman was plainly in command.
That's awesome, right? For all the women are cheering right now at home. They're like, yeah.
Yeah, she actually is about to become like a woman.
Feminist icon.
Breaking news, Bob Hair Bandit robs grocery store with some cuck bitch.
I mean, you could not be closer to the truth.
Yeah.
Specifically with that.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, what bothered
Is
him
there
even...
pegging in this story, Slaty?
Yeah, finally.
Oh,
we're doing Connor's closer. So, papers even falsely reported that you don't know that.
I don't know Connor's closer.
Oh boy,
I should know it.
Butt hump with
He
the
got butt slammed by a plastic cock.
Oh wow,
butt slam.
that sounds rough.
the papers even falsely reported that she also drove the getaway car. What bothered him even more than the emasculation was the report that the police had now been ordered to handle sightings of the duo with a shoot to kill.
Oh no, you don't shoot a woman.
The Coonies weren't the only ones bothered with the press. The NYPD was also getting slammed for
guys
their
wanna see that in the-
inability to catch girls.
The Goonies font, the Coonies. Not love Cooney.
Coonies never say die.
Never say.
The NYPD was getting slammed for their inability to catch a girl.
You can't even catch a girl, copper.
Commissioner
The
Richard
NYPD reporting to Mayor a bully from the Sandlot.
Commissioner Richard E. Enright was already a constant target for everything from corruption charges to claims that he was incapable of stopping crime. On January 12th, the Brooklyn Citizen ran a story about how the commissioner fired 13 men for failing to police speakeasies, right next to a story headlined, "Girl Bandit Gets 113 in Weekly Store Holdup." Embarrassed, he had to do something quickly. So 2 days later, Commissioner Enright announced that he had caught the bobbed-haired bandit.
But he didn't actually catch her, did he?
After picking up
did
a
the same thing
sketchy
with Saddam.
19-year-old named Vincent Apples Kowaleski,
Okay.
the kid admitted to every robbery in the neighborhood, including the ones done by the Coonies.
Wait, his name's Apples?
Now, I mean, it's his nickname.
This is a
okay.
dude that like got paid to be the decoy, or he's just like
No, he's just like,
Crazy?
you guys tell me I need to talk, so I'll say I did everything.
Yeah. They probably were like, we'll get you out of here earlier if you cop to some shit.
Pressed to name his bobbed-haired leader, he said Helen Quigley. Helen was a former burlesque showgirl who had
describe her.
recently moved home after failing to move from chorus to star. Cops took her in and were shocked when, after hours of interrogation, she would still not admit to her crimes. Instead, she calmly powdered her nose while explaining that she did know Apples and assumed he fingered her as the culprit because she recently stood him up for a date.
I like the idea that they're baffled by a woman can lie.
No way!
Yeah.
Within a couple of days, the press began to doubt that she was the robber, but the police stuck to their guns. She and Apples were formally charged with the assault and robbery.
Oh, really? It went that far. But they're not. These aren't the people. But they got charged.
This infuriated Celia Cooney.
I'm the robber. That bitch. What?
She would not stand by while an innocent girl got railroaded.
Oh, seriously?
I mean,
Is that a quote unquote?
I just did a fingered one and you guys let it go.
I heard the finger one. I tried to be mature.
look, I had a fingered one earlier, man. I'm already fingered out for the night. My joints are tired, man.
So, was the run a
in the
train
rabbit.
thing a quote, or you just came up with that?
I mean, like, it is a acceptable term for, like, when
You
they're
almost said it was a
something.
common thing.
No, yeah, railroad.
Yeah, getting railroaded is actually a common term.
It's a thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
anyway, so this lady's about
Railed.
to get gang fucked by the criminal justice system.
3 days after Helen's arrest, Celia and Ed robbed the Weinstein drugstore for $50.
Oh, yeah, selling those roofies.
The Weinstein drugstore.
Man, I just feel like we would have all felt badder about this like 6 months ago.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
now
know
we're
badder's
like,
not a word.
you know what? Fine.
Yeah,
Take
that's
it.
cool.
And they
What
left.
if? Wait, hang on. I have a theory.
Okay, sure.
The Weinstein drug company gets robbed by a woman when that's a big deal, and little Harvey peeks out and is one day revenge.
I'm gonna make them pay.
Yeah, exactly.
She left a note for the police. Quote,
Come and get it, bitches.
"You dirty fish peddling bums.
Wow,
Leave this
that's so
innocent-
low. I
She
know a
used
guy.
to fuck sailors, too. That's a...
Right?
Yeah, she knows swears.
Leave this
fish
innocent
peddling.
girl alone and get the right ones, which is nobody else but us.
Oh,
we
damn.
defy you fellows to catch us."
You pussies.
Signed, the bobbed hair bandit and her companion.
Signed in blood and cum mixed.
Yeah,
Makes
I come blood.
I cum blood.
That's
I'm
how
very,
hardcore I
I'm
am.
very intense. I'm
I
very
bleed
intense. I'm very intense. You know how people put marbles in their butt? I put those little things that are made out of lead with the 3 points. I cum blood.
The next day, the letter was reprinted in the paper. Police
know what I'm
insisted
talking about.
Helen was the original, and Celia was simply a copycat. So a few days later, Celia robbed another store and left another note.
Yeah, see?
"Well, I'm certainly having a fine time with you bulls. Give it up, boys, because you'll never get me, because I'll kill you off one by one if you start after me."
Do you know what they call bulls nowadays?
What? Cucks?
No.
Is that the term?
But
Yes.
a cuck might enlist the bull to take
The
care
bull
of
is the
something.
guy who does the. He's the cucker as opposed to the cucky.
So interesting.
The
She's
blaster.
And I was
so
going to say, the whole tone of this feels like this lady's like, I'm not going to be happy until I fuck every cop in New York. I want to drown in a wall of NYPD jism.
Be careful now is my advice. Be decent and don't make us spend it on a lawyer. So long, boys. Don't forget. You'll hear from me during the week. Signed, the bobbed hair bandit and her tall companion.
Oh, no, he's tall.
I actually like her wit. I think she's funny.
Yeah, she's
She'll
got
make
some,
us spend it on a lawyer. That's
She's
fucking
single?
hilarious.
she's got some stuff to say.
She's dead.
I do like that. I do like that the Ed's feeling so. God, I hate this word, cucked. He's feeling so cucked now that he's like, "Can you say that I'm tall when you
Yeah.
sign? I'm not just your companion."
Can you just
Also-
mention that I have a gun too?
Why couldn't Ed just be happy that his wife's making some cash? Like,
Because it's 1924.
Okay, but to be fair, up until this point, everything was going great. They found somebody else to take the hit for the robbery.
That's true.
They were fine. And then she's like, "No, I need to fuck it up. 'Cause I'm a dumb idiot."
That's true.
And he's just like, "Duh, I don't know. I'm a
Call me
stupid bitch,
tall."
but I'd sure like if we didn't go to prison, so you could have your fucking wall-eyed baby, and we could buy it hats or whatever."
To be fair,
And he's like, "No, I'm retarded."
he's down with this plan too. There's nothing about this that he's disagreed with. He's just kind of bobbing along with her.
That's what I'm saying. He's stupid too.
By
Oh,
the
that's
end
not
of
what you just said.
February,
I know. Anyway.
police
Let's
relented
argue.
and formed the 8-man bobbed-haired squad with the exclusive mission.
No cop wants it to be a. They're like,
Yeah.
boss, can we do a second draft on the team name?
Can I be on the poodle skirt service?
Yeah. The PSS.
With the exclusive
piss
mission of catching the
ponytail.
stylish bandit. Grocery and drugstores were under constant surveillance. Every bobbed-haired girl in New York was now a suspect, due in no small part to a series of copycats who had sprung up in wake of press coverage.
hilarious.
Driving while bobbed became an actual thing. F. Scott Fitzgerald even claimed his wife Zelda had been stopped on the Queensboro Bridge on suspicion of being the bandit herself. 2 young men, spotted on the street dressed as bobbed-haired women for an artist's ball in the Village, were arrested as prime suspects.
Artist ball.
Yeah, come on. It made sense only a man dressed as a woman could pull off these sort of crimes.
It's not like she lifted a car. Like she just held a gun. They don't weigh that.
They
much.
are made of metal.
Also, how pregnant is she now?
Pretty. I mean, she's probably showing a bit, maybe a tiny bit, but
Yeah.
again, sealskin
did-
coat, bro.
All of this happened within. Is this all within like a couple of weeks or months or fucking how?
At this point, you know what? We'll get to a date
like
pretty
a
soon.
year of
There's a
banditry.
date coming in pretty soon somewhere.
Okay. When's the baby gonna come?
It made sense. Oh, yes. The papers loved
You don't
this
get
new
to hold
development.
it, Tom.
All right, stick a cork in there. We got 3 more jobs to pull.
The papers loved this new part of the story, complimenting the teen boys for their looks. Quote, "They made wonderful girls. Both used lipstick and rouge like artists. Both had their hair shaven clean at the back of the neck and had their eyebrows plucked in the most accepted style."
Wait, so
We've rounded around so hard that they hate women so much that they're okay with drag queens.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
they created.
It's
is
like
this
Iran.
The first time
This-
this is cross-threaded.
And we would have sashayed away with it too if it weren't for you meddling cops.
Both, let's see, they were eventually cleared, but now the cops had tuned into any masculine-looking lady. They even had male suspects.
Sorry, ma'am, I hate to stop you, but you look like a fucking dude.
Jodie Foster, freeze!
Yeah, all right, Chuck, feel up her Adam's apple.
Show me your penis. You're going to jail.
Hey, honey, did you consider football kind of for a minute, and then your brother said no?
Get down on the ground, Suze Orman.
They even had male suspects stand in the lineups dressed as bobbed-haired women.
A few of the cops even sucked their cocks, but considered it straight sex because... Never mind.
Despite the very publicized effort to catch them, Celia and Ed continue to pick off new places. But stores reacting to the wave of robberies kept less and less cash in the register. One robbery nearly went sideways when Celia was recognized by a fan, and they barely got away before police arrived.
Oh, shit.
Only to discover that the safe they had pilfered only contained some war medals and a ring they couldn't actually pawn.
Boring.
By now, things were getting desperate. Not only were the cops angry and closing in, but Celia was due in a couple of months.
Oh, shit, dog.
They needed to get out of town, and they had no money to flee. So they decided on one last job.
What are you spazzing at?
What the fuck? They continued to just spend all the money they've been making this entire time?
Yeah, they're not
Just
responsible.
more coats? What the fuck have they been
They
buying?
live for today.
Yeah, what version of this story leads you to believe they have great impulse
I thought we were going to have like a fun list of all the shit they were buying, you know? Like
diamond encrusted shoes, oysters, Rockefeller, not bringing home
Yeah.
a doggy bag, getting another meal. Right.
At this point, it's like mostly eating out.
Yeah.
It's like it's a lot of eating out.
Okay.
And then more
Hey, if it was mostly eating out, she wouldn't have gotten pregnant in the first place.
guys, Keith just walked away. I don't know where he's going. He's like, yeah.
dropped his mic.
He's eating me out. He's eating me out.
Oh, Shefsky, your pussy tastes so good. It's musky. Oh, it's gross that you're protesting. It makes this bit less fun.
guys keep going. I'm just gonna watch.
Oh yeah, you would.
Oh, dude.
It was time for one last job before they headed to the safe haven of Florida.
How bad did you fuck up when Florida is the finish
And
line?
then white trash was created.
You never go towards Florida. You always go away from Florida.
Yeah.
No more grocery stores. It was time for a big score. They decided
We're
to
gonna
rob
steal this alligator, see?
the payroll office of the National Biscuit Company.
None of this regional biscuit shit. We're going to the federal level.
All the money in the
Also
bag. Also some biscuits.
known as
Nabisco?
Nabisco.
Yes!
Yep.
We want the recipe for Oreos, too. See?
Yeah. I'm gonna be shitting pretty in no time.
I want this bag of money double stuffed.
How long
see?
did natural? Did you already know that? How long did it come to you to get
I
like
figured it
National
out the second
Biscuit
you said
Company?
it.
Yeah. There you go.
It's quick with acronyms.
The office
damn.
was visible from the back window of Ed's mother's house. On payday, you could literally see stacks of cash on the desk, ready for envelopes. With Ed's genius plan, it would be easy. They secretly put their furniture in storage and told their landlady they would be out of town for a week. Then they took a subway downtown and checked into a hotel in Times Square as the Parkers. They bought new clothes as a disguise and 2 tickets on a steamship leaving for Jacksonville in 3 days.
I got
2 tickets to Jacksonville. Boo!
All right, me and Rich are on a team
Loved
now.
that.
No. I'm just being the fan at that show, being like,
Yeah.
no.
That's not where your tickets are to, Eddie.
No one wants to go there.
Yeah.
I like how they bought new clothes as disguise.
Florida.
Florida, alligators.
Then they hired a chauffeur-driven car to take the Parkers to look at houses in Brooklyn,
What race was the chauffeur, Slaton?
which happened to be right next to Nabisco.
Yeah.
The night before the job, Celia practiced tying up the driver on her husband.
Then what else did she do?
Yeah,
She ate him out.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Licked his,
This story has
she
so
licked his
much.
tiny subordinate butthole.
Has so much dude eating out. I love this story.
Well, it's also, this whole story is crazy because you think about how they're doing the robbery. They're like, well, for a disguise, we need new fancy clothes. And also, we can't drive a car ourselves, even though we have access to cars.
Yeah, nobody thought, you know what could work instead of all these $1 million outfits? What about one mask? Any mask.
Yeah, but Nixon hadn't come around yet.
Even a
right?
burlap sack or a pillowcase would work, I think.
Yeah, what about a pair of sunglasses?
On Tuesday,
Oh, one of
April
those
1st,
Groucho Marx things with the nose, fellas. The mustache.
And then if the
see?
cops come for us, we just say, he went that way, officer.
Which way? That way. Which
That
way?
way.
Is that
Point
way? I
both
don't know.
ways.
That way. Who's on first? You tell me.
How about that? Bugs Bunny ass bullshit.
on Tuesday, April 1st, 1924, a very
Fooled
pregnant
you!
Celia.
Right? Is that what you're going to say? Are you going to school us right now?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay,
was
yeah,
April
I get it.
1st.
On April 1st, 1924, a very pregnant Celia wore a turban, a fur coat, and her beaded gray dress.
All right.
A turban.
Man, she really is trying to get the NYPD to hate her. She's
I
like,
know,
what about
right?
a turban? Is that enough?
Dude, I hope she fucking poops out this baby during the heist.
Oh, yeah, dude.
The couple entered their chauffeured car with 3 guns, a pair of empty suitcases for the cash. When they reached Brooklyn, Ed held the chauffeur at gunpoint while his wife tied him up with picture wire before forcing him to lie down on the car floor.
Sorry, it's just protocol.
Ed drove them to Nabisco,
personal.
parked and made a big show of telling Celia to stay behind and watch the driver, and then they both went inside.
Oh, she doesn't follow orders. Very feminist.
No,
No.
they're trying to make him think he's watched, but they're both going.
Oh,
yeah.
God, I'm dumb. Okay. I swear I was like, I swear I was
You
like,
picture John laying in the car. Boy, I can't hear anything, but I bet she's up there. Better not look.
I've totally been that guy in many situations in life.
Once inside, they were surprised to discover it was filled with 20 people. Celia handed the cashier, Nathan Mazzo, an envelope. He opened it to find an empty slip of paper. Confused, he looked up to find a gun in his face.
That is a cool move.
Yeah?
Yeah,
I like
that's,
it.
That's very Hollywood.
Yeah, why don't you read the letter that we sent you?
They ordered the employees into a back room, but as they shuffled past, Mazzo jumped for Celia's gun.
Oh, shit.
Celia fell, and he jumped for the door to the back room, slamming it shut behind him. But Ed was already pulling the trigger.
Oh, this just turned into murder?
The bullets went through the door, and someone screamed.
Oh, ficht.
Ed and Celia panicked and ran, leaving $8,000 behind in the open safe.
Wait, so no one got shot and they left their money?
Oh, no, someone got shot. That's why the screaming was. And then they ran
Oh.
away. Yeah, they shot him.
Did he
Well, hold on. Let the story happen.
If you already killed the guy, at least rob the guy.
Yeah.
That's what my mom
it's
always
like
said.
118 grand in today's money.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a down payment in Florida.
And the safe was open.
300 trips back and forth from Jacksonville.
yeah.
We could have got a
All
Jacksonville.
right, we could buy our way to a new life, or we buy the world's most expensive glove.
My bitch, she makes all the financial decisions.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do?
Well, honey, it's an investment.
Look, we're getting matching 1920s Infinity Gauntlets.
She goes to Target a lot. What can I say?
We call it Tajay, darling.
Tajay, my fancy lady.
They
the first one to
abandoned their
do that.
getaway car with the driver still tied up in the back, and with no loot, the couple took a cab to the docks.
How long did that guy just lay in that car? It's like been clearly 2 hours. He's like,
Hello.
okay, man, this is a log robbery.
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. How long am I supposed to be in here? With no loot, they took a cab to the docks and boarded a steamer for Florida. Mazzo survived, and the chauffeur escaped the car.
Oh, nice.
But the damage was done because their job had one major flaw. The Nabisco office was at 1000 Pacific Street. The apartment where they had lived for years was 1099.
Good Lord.
Within hours, witnesses identified the couple to the cops.
Oh, that's fucking stupid.
Can you? All right. I don't understand what's happening right now.
They live on the same street. They see them all the fucking time. They knew exactly who they were.
They were like, all right, peace, and then they parked right next door. Like,
No, they lived next door for
Yeah.
years.
They lived down the street from this place.
Yeah.
oh, so the employees knew who they were.
Everyone knew who they were.
They were just
also,
were
like,
townies.
They
Yeah.
seemed
like-
so smart for a while.
Also, she left. She dropped a notebook somewhere. It's pretty easy. The dots get put together pretty quickly here.
It's like if me and Q all right, you know who we're going to rob? The Comedy Store. That place that we're always at. No one will see it come.
2
We'll
days-
add Rich in, too.
2 days later, Celia and Ed, I could get you guys in because I have my employee code. I think is still active in the computer.
Oh, let's
So
actually
they'll-
go rob the comedy store.
No one will see it coming.
2 days later,
Nobody listens to
Celia
this
and Ed
podcast.
I'm getting the chicken fingers.
arrived in Jacksonville and moved into the only place they could afford, a room even worse than their original room.
Oh, man. Robbing their way down, huh?
Then things suddenly got worse when, weeks early, Celia's water broke.
Hell yeah.
Fearing arrest, she refused to go to the hospital. A local doctor came and made her go anyway.
Wasn't she born in like a basement?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fucking just shoot it out in the apartment.
Yeah.
Easier said than done.
Celia
my
gave
mom
birth-
did it.
Right?
It's clearly a man just being like, yeah, just shit that thing out,
yeah.
you dumb broad.
It's just a poop, right?
Hey, so
Yeah.
I'm on her side.
Oh, you can rob 20 grocery stores. You
I'm-
can't have one fucking baby.
I'm with
Just jump
her
up and down a
fighting
little
the
bit. You know,
man.
why not?
Yeah, we didn't get a trampoline for you to not have a baby on it.
You literally can have your husband body slam you and it'll go, and it'll fly right out.
All right,
Catch
see,
it.
right there is an issue.
It's like a Tom Green movie.
I think
You'll be fine.
Celia
I
gave
think
birth to
some
a
of the baby
girl
would
on
come
April
out.
10th, 1924, but as they were broke, they were immediately kicked out of the hospital.
That's the day after my birthday.
USA. USA.
They tried to go back to their room, but discovered they'd been evicted for not paying rent.
USA. Man.
Ed wrote to his mom asking for money, but the letter was intercepted.
By
Law-
a bird that just took it out of his hand.
Law enforcement put out a bulletin to Jacksonville hospitals to look out for a couple matching their description with a newborn baby.
Or the envelope had an
And
empty
then
paper
2
in it.
days later, the baby died.
Oh, fuck.
Man.
Damn.
That rules.
Is it just me or does anyone else have to pee?
Don't worry, Tom. Only 2,000 more words to go.
Okay.
You ever just
With
peed in your
no
pants
money
while you're
for a
talking?
burial.
Man, what a shitty life for that baby. All I got to do was be born, be in Florida, and die.
And it would have had the dopest story if it lived. Like, it was
Yeah.
in mom's belly for a bunch of robberies. That's
Yeah, it'd be like,
pretty
oh, I'm the
fucking
most
cool.
metal kid ever.
Yeah, right?
With no money for a burial, they had to convince an undertaker to take the job on finance.
Okay, hang on.
What kind of APR you got on this funeral, kid?
Yeah, I mean, number one, at this point, just whip the thing over a bridge. Like, you know what I mean? Because this is a terrible enough time period where I'm sure you'd be like, well, we'll bury the baby on credit, but if you don't pay, we're going to dig it up and we're going to leave it on your doorstep.
You could just throw it
Like a
off the
bag of
dead
dog
baby
shit.
bridge.
Yeah.
There's a whole pile down there.
That's like how France has like that bridge where lovers go to put a padlock. Florida has one for just unwanted child corpses.
It's just a bunch of baby corpses fucking tied to a fence with a coat hanger.
Disgusting and hilarious.
Go to BetDSI for the odds to see what the actual likelihood is that dead Baby Ravine exists somewhere in Florida.
Dead Baby Ravine. Yo, that rules.
Shit.
This is the most
That's
fun
the-
I've ever had.
That's my punk band.
Goo Goo Gaga, Brooke.
Well,
Dead Baby Ravine, yeah, they're opening for the Coonies next week at CBGB.
I must warn you, it's a very offensive show.
Thanks, old British guy who sells tickets to punk shows.
Are we really making it that much more offensive?
the Undertaker. No, this
We're doing a
is
bit.
this is pretty par for the course here.
Yeah.
Talking about
The Undertaker
concert.
did accept their layaway baby burial.
But
And then he
Macho Man
did Body
Randy
Savage.
The joy in our eyes as
I
we
gotta
ran
say-
headlong from two different sides of the room into the
It
same
was
dumb
great.
joke.
Hulk Hogan came in, called the baby brother. It was
Nah,
really great.
I think he might have called the brother quote. Yeah, quote unquote brother.
And then he promptly reported them as he had seen the bulletin.
Yo, you got narked by a baby gravedigger. Man, and you gotta have if you're a Florida child mortician, you gotta have a flexible moral compass at best.
Yeah.
You're like, I didn't see anything, Miss Anthony. But-
Also, what a dipshit. He's not going to get paid for that. They're going to be in prison.
yeah, what a dumb fuck.
Yeah, what a stupid.
Wait till you get paid for the baby corpse,
Yeah.
then call the police. This
He's
is
like-
economics
He's
101.
like, what do you want, 18 months? All right, I'm going to call. I'm going to call.
Yeah,
No,
wouldn't
that's too long to
wouldn't you
wait.
think, like, I'm not going to be the guy to call. They're mourning their dead baby.
Yeah, but then he's like, I don't know, I could have waited if they did like the first plan, but going
Well, then he's
36
like,
months at
Or
zero
maybe there
API.
was a reward, like a $25 gift certificate
He's like,
to Amazon.
well, on the one hand, they're mourning a dead baby. On the other hand, we're in Florida, which means I'm a terrible reptile of a man.
said the alligator with a shovel.
The couple was arrested a few days later. The capture of the bobbed-haired bandit made front pages across the nation. Thousands of onlookers gathered to see their train arrive in New York. It took 10 minutes for mounted officers to escort them through the throng of flashbulbs and yelling onlookers.
Are you laughing at mounted officers?
Yes, I am.
Just a bunch of cops with their pants around their ankles just fucking in like a human centipede. It took 10 minutes for mounted officers to unlock their chihuahua-like sexual act.
Well, the cops are having a funeral for the baby. It's a 21 cum salute.
Shit. Papers noted that the crowd was even bigger than the one waiting for President Calvin
Somebody
Coolidge.
playing a bagpipe, but it's just the baby's body.
The most morbid fucking baby riff ever. Oh, dude. Oh, dude.
Sorry, continue.
The press was unsure of how to frame their bandit, especially in light of the baby. Some reported that
These
she
dumb
teared
fuck
up when
parents.
asked about it. Others reported that she said, quote, "Wasn't that a shame?" before powdering her nose.
Wait, the woman?
That's the
bandit?
How is
So-
she actually feeling about this?
well, she's crazy. So
Yeah.
What
she's
makes you say that, though?
she's been vacillating.
bought a seal
You know,
jacket?
She's making money.
That's true.
She's
but
making a living.
so right now she's like vacillating back and forth between like loving the attention of the crowds and being like upset about being arrested, kinda, and then also remembering every once in a while that her baby's dead.
I like the dead baby as a distant third on this.
Yeah.
You got the bronze medal in the list of shit in my week, dead baby.
Did the baby have a name?
Hey, what happened? Hey, let's do roses and thorns. Oh, well, my rose is everyone's looking at me a whole lot, and my thorn is that I got caught for this robbery thing. And God, I know I could have sworn something else happened this week.
Oh, I was gonna have a baby, and then a whole thing.
Yeah, the ravine was kind of a bummer,
Do
but
you guys know a pro bono child barrier?
it's
Did they have Craigslist for that brass?
for
Cradle?
the cradle. Yeah, I think it's long gone now. Okay. At the Brooklyn DA office, Celia confessed to 10 robberies and writing 2 notes, but denied writing the one about the fish peddlers.
What a weird line to draw in the sand.
Yeah,
Hey, what did I say earlier? She fucked a bunch of sailors. She got respect for.
I
fish
do
peddlers.
better curses.
Yeah.
When they put her in a lineup, she argued with every robbery victim. Store owner Abe Fishbein pointed at her and said,
Fish keep popping up.
I wish I wasn't thinking of just a 6-foot fish in a smock, wearing like wire rim glasses. 'cause
Talking
he's
in
old.
gargles.
Fish bomb is maybe the
They're
worst.
supposed to be in water.
Store owner Abe Fishbein pointed at her and said, "That lady scared me to death. I had $85. She took every cent."
Could you please do that in the fish voice that we just
Yeah. I wish
I was up to my gills in terror.
Scared me to death. She had $85. I don't know if
You sound like Bernie Sanders.
Well,
Oh my God, he's a fish!
Brian and Chewie.
The fish people versus the lizard
That's
people.
why the DNC scammed him.
Oh, Bernie Flounders.
Fucking damn it! Oh, that's so fucking funny.
You
The
poor
Bernie
and she
Flounders.
grinned and replied, "You poor fish. Are you sure it was that much? We counted it carefully. It was only 17." And that's how it went with every single one of the people. She was getting laughs apparently. The Coonies were charged with robbery, grand larceny, and assault. They both pled guilty. Celia and Ed were taken to separate jails to await sentencing.
Oh.
Even behind bars, the press was all over the bobbed-haired bandit. She refused to talk unless someone paid her. When
What
a photographer
smart motherfucker.
Making
Yeah.
that skrill.
That's what's up, bruh.
That's a good call.
When a photographer offered her $25 to pose, she replied, "Piker, that's only cigarette money." Newspaper magnate William Randolph Hearst.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing
the
good.
American Devil showed up.
Nothing good about media ever follows those 5 words.
If you say those words, lightning strikes, and the Darth Vader entrance music starts playing.
Was he a president? What was his deal?
No, he was just he's just an evil billionaire
well,
that controls
let's go
media.
back to how I introduced him. Newspaper magnate William Randolph Hearst.
Okay, I thought he did some other shit too.
He did a bunch.
He did a bunch of stuff.
None of them was
Start
the
talking about him,
president,
Rich.
He heard the news and promptly paid her $1,000 to write her autobiography with the help of a professional.
Oh, tight.
It was more than she and Eddie had taken in all their robberies combined.
Okay.
Appearing in 12 installments over 2 weeks, they were billed as the, quote, strangest, weirdest, most dramatic, most tragic human interest stories ever written.
And chill out with the adjectives there, Willie.
They included staged photographs of Celia in her turban and sealskin coat, in handcuffs, in her cell, and posing with a pistol pointed at the camera, so readers could experience, quote, exactly what 6 grocery clerks faced when she used the command, "Stick 'em up," on the victims of her first robbery.
I'm not
Imagine
gonna
being
lie.
so rich. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
go
Imagine being
for it.
so rich you could walk into a jail and be like, "All right, I'm going to give this lady a gun and take pictures of her,
That's
and
a
you're all
great
going to
point.
fucking be fine with it." What were you saying, Tom?
Oh, it sounds kind of hot.
Yeah, right. The turban is what's
The turban and the gun combined.
The stories did not help her case, and on Tuesday, May 2nd, Celia and Ed Cooney were both sentenced to 10 to 20 years in prison. She was sent to Auburn, and he was sent to Sing Sing.
Ooh, Sing Sing.
Just a month into her sentence, Celia was told she had a visitor. When she entered the room, she was shocked to see
A new baby.
I survived.
You thought I was
You
dead.
left me in Florida, smoking 3 cigarettes. He has an eye patch.
I don't know how, but I'm older than you.
A tattoo of a heart that says "Mom" in it, and then a line through it.
Do you have any idea
I'm older than you.
I know it's weird, but just go with it.
Hey, after you think you knew how to fuck sailors? You should see what I've been up to.
This is Joey Diaz as her baby.
How do you think I got back on the steamship from Jacksonville, you cocksucker?
You look like this if you crawled out of a dead baby ravine.
Yeah, anyway, I'm opening for Rogan next week.
That's who showed up, Slaton? Oh my God, this story gets weirder and
Man,
weirder.
what a twist.
I should write these.
When she entered,
We both lose our jobs. They just take over the podcast. I think we both just lost crime tonight.
Welcome to Crime, boys.
The format's already there, guys. Have fun with it.
when she entered the room, she was shocked to see Eddie. Their families had quietly petitioned for a transfer. The Coonies were now given a half hour every month to visit, and they wrote letters in between.
Oh, that's so cute.
It was the best either of them could have hoped for. Until
Oy vey.
Another baby.
da, 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 da.
Another baby.
Here comes cool baby.
2 months later, the license plate machine that Ed was now ironically working on jammed.
Oh, shit.
When he reached in to free the
Oh,
plate,
not the arm! Did it pull his whole body and...
it crushed his hand.
Yes!
Oh. Why would you reach into a fucking machine that smashes metal?
3 fingers had to be amputated.
No
Oof.
more stinky pinky, baby.
No, he's just the stinky pinky.
Oh, it's just a stinky pinky?
I think a permanent hang loose situation.
This is always a shocker. It's just a thumb. It's just a thumb.
Then the wound got infected,
I saw that coming.
Oh,
so they had to cut off half his hand.
Oh, my God.
Then...
Bust up, you baby.
It's like when you're stealing part of like your roommate's food and you're just trying to chip a little bit at a time so they don't notice how much you took.
Oh, yeah.
Tom's like, that's where the Captain Crunch went.
just staring at him.
Yeah, I stole your peanut butter.
I thought there was 75% of my cheesecake. What happened, Slaton?
That didn't work, so they cut off the rest of his hand.
Did that work? Did that work?
Man, this is a real old lady who swallowed a fly.
Tune in for our story next week, Stumpy and the Bandit.
This went on for 18 months until they finally stopped the infection by
Just having a head. you love me for my looks, baby?
by cutting off his arm below the elbow.
Oh my god!
Oh wow, that really did go bad.
I would have just been like, just start there, you fuck.
Yeah.
His arm finally healed,
3 amputations later.
Okay.
and then he caught tuberculosis.
Did he die? Did he die from the teeb?
He was transferred to a prison with a hospital hundreds of miles away.
but then somebody stole all his blood.
In 1930, the New York legislature passed a law allowing convicts to sue for damages if injured while incarcerated.
Okay.
In 1931, Ed filed a $100,000 case against the state.
This is the only thing anyone in the story has done so far where I'm like, good.
Wait, what year was this and how
1931, $100,000 case.
much? Which is a ton of money.
a shit ton of money now.
Yeah. That's infinity
Later that
dollars.
same year, he filed it. He hasn't won it yet.
Right.
Later that same year, Celia and Ed were given early release after just 7 years on the condition that she would never act in a movie, write her life story, or give any interviews.
Why?
Didn't she already do that?
the warden's like, your acting is
the idea that they don't
atrocious.
want her to like glamorize
Because she was such a publicity hound in the first place.
She's the Tia Tequila of her day.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's like, don't ever act, please.
But I'm sort of like, let her do that so she doesn't go back to doing this.
That's
Any
how prison always
violation-
works. They go, you can't have a regular job, but don't be a criminal. That's how
I like
prison
the
always
idea
is.
that her and this guy who now has one arm go back to robbing grocery stores, and it still takes them another 3 years to get caught. And they're like, well, a woman couldn't rob a store again.
Especially if her cuck only had one hand.
Yeah.
Any violation would send her back inside. On November 6, 1931, Celia had to be smuggled out of prison in robes to avoid the waiting press. The couple reunited in Harlem and moved back in with Ed's folks in Brooklyn. And that Christmas, they received a massive present.
A giant baby doll.
Double callback.
Oh, terrifying.
Oh, you fucked that giant doll.
Oh, God.
The state awarded Ed $12,000 for his injuries,
Whoa.
half of which went to his lawyers.
So $6,000, the equivalent these days of...
A lot. Well, if 8,000 was 114.
700 trips to Jacksonville.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a prediction. By the time you start reading again, that money is going to be gone.
Yeah.
Still, 6,000 was more money than they'd ever imagined. The Cooneys bought a 5-bedroom red brick home in Long Island. In the end, they ended up better off financially having been to prison than they ever would have working as a laundress and mechanic.
Justice.
They had 2 sons, Patrick and Ed Jr., who knew nothing about their parents' brief brush with fame.
Oh, shit.
But Ed's tuberculosis got worse, and he passed away in 1936.
Oh, wow. He didn't live that much longer after they got
So
the house.
to care for her boys, Celia sold the house and moved back to a one-room in the city, working again in manual labor.
What the fuck?
Eventually, she resorted to violating her parole and selling her story once more. But between a depression and World War II, the state had more important things to do than track her down.
Thanks, Hitler.
I told you there was a good side to the whole thing.
Hitler's like, oh, no, you like... I don't know why I'm doing Hitler as an old Jewish man.
Yeah. Oi.
Oh, there's so many Jews. You got to get rid of them. What are you going to do with them? You can't have them here. You can't make them go over there.
I need to see that with Hitler animated with your voice in the background.
Although she was not done stealing, because the new version of her story that she wrote, the new updated story, was lifted pretty much verbatim from old newspapers.
Oh, she plagiarized her own biography?
Yes. On July 13th, 1992, Celia Cooney died at the age of 88. She was buried in Florida.
What a place
By
to
the
be.
baby?
She still owes money to a mortician.
And that's the story of Celia Cooney, the
Wow.
bob-haired bandit.
That fucking...
She rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
You know
cool.
what she stole? My heart.
I get that.
Yeah.
I totally get that.
She lived to be 88. That's pretty awesome. She had a full life.
Oh yeah, she all the way through. Her kids didn't know about this stuff until apparently she got some dementia later in life and would like start randomly admitting to her crimes in front of her kids.
And they're like,
thinking
oh,
that-
Nana, you're crazy.
Yeah, they were
And then,
like,
yeah,
wow. And then some people were researching like whatever happened to the bob-haired bandit and found the kids and were like, you guys know about this, right? They're like, kinda, but not really.
Yeah, we always thought
And-
Grandma was lying. Yeah.
Yep.
Are her kids criminals too?
No, they're good.
Yeah, what do they
Normal. I think they might
Well,
be.
one's on this podcast.
Yeah. No, last I checked, I mean, the last thing I heard of it was so they were in like their 60s and 70s, I think, sometime around 2002, 2003. So
Okay, so they're dead.
they might still be around.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Mom made 88, so
Yeah.
That's
You
true.
know, definite
awesome.
definite possibility.
What it just could not sound more like a rapper's girlfriend. Like, she just sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah, she's pretty
I want
gnarly.
to date this lady.
Yeah,
she's
well,
dead,
it's-
so it's gonna be pretty dry.
Well, you know,
Just let you know, yeah. She'll never say no, but it's not gonna be worth it.
Today's sources include The Bob-Haired Bandit, A True Story of Crime and Celebrity in
That's the thing with having
1920s New
sex with
York,
dead people. They just
by Stephen Duncombe and Andrew Madison, The New York Times, The New York Daily News, and of course, The Evil Robots at Wikipedia. And big thanks again to Al Balmani for helping with the writing of this. Guys, where can people find the Mean Boys?
You can find us Mean Boys Podcasts on iTunes. You go to
Yep.
meanboyspodcast.com to find out our tour dates and all that
a
jazz.
website.
Yeah, we have a whole website.
Yeah.
We're also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Mean Boys Podcast. I am on all those things as well at Keith Tells Jokes.
I'm on all those things as well at Goss6. It's a
and
good
Connor's
Twitter
somewhere
handle.
too.
Oh yeah, I get.
You can
not here.
plug
I
his
gotta
own
fucking
good for
plug
him.
Connor. Is
I
that,
said Connor's somewhere too.
is that how
Yeah.
far pretty
I didn't-
white privilege gets you?
I
have
didn't
to
give.
fucking
I
do-
didn't say. I said like fuck whatever.
Yeah, he's
Rich invited us to come on his show and plug Connor's Twitter.
he's at Whiskey McFuckface on Friendster.
You can find our show on all social media at CrimePod, CRiiiMEPOD. And of course, we have the live show in Sacramento, Saturday, October 13th.
Come.
Yes, definitely come a whole lot. And go see Mean Boys live, by the way. I've done
Oh,
Mean
hell
Boys
yeah.
live. It's fucking bananas. There's usually a dominatrix.
Yeah, there is.
People get hit. It's very fun.
If you enjoyed this episode, come check out Mean Boys. If you like what we did here, you'll like what we did.
Yeah, you 100% will. We've been wanting to make this happen for a long time.
This was a fucking blast, dude.
Yeah, and you can,
this was so much
And you
fun.
can hear there's an episode if you want a nice little introduction into Mean Boys. Frequent guest on this show, Kyle Clark, and I did a recent episode with these guys.
Oh, we were all just shirtless and sweating.
Yes,
to
we
death.
were shirtless and sweating to death.
That was fun.
And go to the patreon.com/crime. I think it's just crime. Might be Crime Pod, but go and support the show. It's in the show notes.
support the show, guys. We're gonna
Yeah.
be moving to two times a month, bi-weekly.
Oh yeah, we probably should have said at the
So-
top of the show. We're probably going bi-weekly now
We're going by.
for a little
Hell
while
yeah.
at least.
Welcome to the team.
But the Patreon subscribers will get. we have content every week for the
We'll
Patreon.
figure-
Is that because of
We'll figure
your
it out.
Candy Crush gig?
Yeah, because the Candy Crush gig and the baby. Those two things together. So yeah, that's about it. Give us a nice review on iTunes and go listen to Mean Boys.
We are almost at 100 reviews, guys.
Yeah.
Our 100th reviewer is going to get something special. That's all I can say. So get us there. 100th reviewer.
What about the other
something special.
99 people?
They've
Eh.
already got special stuff. They'll get more, but the 100th reviewer will get
If you're the
something
100th
special.
viewer, you get the uncensored audio of what Rich really said before he went back and put in quote Negro.
And you
unquote.
can put it into one of your rap songs over and over again.
We all know how many SoundCloud rappers listen to Crime.
That's right.
Bye, robot.
Bye, guys. Mwah.